Hello, welcome to our live this week. We're talking about how to actually reach through your legs in your rollbacks and your push-throughs on the Cadillac. We talked about this last week in a live and on tips for like actually helping your roll up. And we got some questions on how do I keep my feet there even if the tips don't work. So let me show you the exercises and typically what tends to happen. So in the rollback, people tend to start with straight legs. And then when they roll back, because they're not moving from their center and they're going down, their hip flexors are hanging on, and that's why their feet pull off, right? So the reality is that one, it's the best way to do this exercise is to start with more of a bent knee anyways, because then you can really stand in your feet, because the point of this exercise is to help you with the tight spot of your back in your roll back. So I would start with those bent knees and then pull your waist back. And if you're pulling your waist back, then it's not about going down to the mat, right? It's getting longer. So your legs will straighten when they need to, just because you have created space there, and then they bend when they need to. Your pelvis doesn't move at all. But let's say that's still not happening for you. This is like, I'll do it myself. So a couple of things you have to do is actually open these guys up. Some ways to do that is with the chest expansion. So just even being here, something super simple, and trying to imagine that as you open this spring, it's opening the front of your hip, right? So I actually don't think about, oh, I'm doing an arm exercise. I think as the spring opens, between here and here, I'm just getting taller and longer. And that actually will, if you're tight, I remember when I was super tight for running, that will actually feel like it's stretching. Then obviously the thigh stretch, where you don't want to sit back. So if all you can go is this far and come back up, then that's what you do. But really challenging yourself to learn how to push your knees down and open the front of your hip. That's going to strengthen these muscles and let these guys have opening, because if they are tight, if they're in fact tight, it doesn't matter how much you're thinking about reaching to the arches of your feet and pulling your spine back, they're just going to come right along. So you want to do things like that. But other less obvious things to do is actually to teach your leg how to reach. So I've talked about these before in other tutorials, but the single leg springs, one way is crossed over, and we do that a lot in my tutorials. So if you want to see that, you have this knee bent. The right spring is on my left foot. My left foot wants to pull across, and I have to do this. And then I am training my leg to reach from the back side of it. Okay, so that's really good. But that really, if you are struggling in parallel to keep your legs reaching, then a good thing for you to do would be same leg, same spring. So it's going to be a little easier, but the point is not that you do a hard exercise. The point is that you teach your leg where to reach from. So just being here and reaching your leg out, I can see, because I have a mirror and you'd want to like have someone watch you. I can see if my foot is going down or up. So I'm trying to move the thigh bone away and keep my foot on that same trajectory. And then I pull it right back. And then I push the leg out and I keep it on that same trajectory. And then I pull it right back. Does that make sense? So that would be one. And then you can go down and up. And I'm reaching my arch of my foot into this strap, like I reach the arch of my foot into this pole. And I am feeling all this turn on. Okay, and so that, again, opens the front of the hip, strengthening the back of the leg. That's really where we want to reach our legs from. And then, of course, you can do your circles, okay? So that's another way to teach your legs how to reach away, but not from the top side, but from the bottom side, right? Not by locking the knees out. Another option you can do, if you have access to a trapeze, right? So what you want to do is have the trapeze be here. Make sure it is straight up and down so you can monitor this. And then practice things like doing the 100 where the strap doesn't move. So my legs aren't hanging in my knees, and I have the ability to reach my legs out from my center and challenge myself to keep the trapeze still. You can also do a roll up here, right? And keep your legs super still in the trapeze. It's very fun like that. So that would be another amazing option for you. Got it? Okay. And then another one, if you want a little bit more advanced, I will say you definitely can't be hanging out in your knees on this one. but would be to do your shoulder roll down, which you can deep dive into that in one of our tutorials. But you have the strap, or the spring, excuse me, from the top, and you place your feet on the bar. Be very careful, obviously, that your feet could slip off. And then you reach the legs up. So from here, what you're looking for is to lift a leg without bending the knee. So if, as my leg lifts, my knee bends like that, that's a sign that I'm doing the reaching from here. So again, you're just testing yourself to reach from the back side. And so my foot almost gets longer onto the bar with each kick. And that is really super helpful. So if you're someone whose feet keep sliding off these poles, it's just a sign that you're not trusting your back line, your back body, and you have to find ways to strengthen that and keep these guys nice and open so they don't work. And then again, if you trust yourself and you know that you can keep reaching from your back body, you're going to roll up without moving this bar, and then you can bend your knees and bring it up and go right into your roll up. And let's see, can we keep those legs still and reach them out from your center? It's possible. You just got to train the back line. I promise you, I never understood this. I would reach so much through my heels that my feet would come off and my knees would push down. And that's just not, it's just not actually how the body really does work when it's working all together. We don't work in pieces or chunks. In Pilates, everything is for the whole body. So that is really key. It's just key for you to learn how to connect to yourself to do that, right? So thank you so much for asking those amazing questions. I love deep diving into these things. Whatever questions you have, pop them in the comments below, or any of our other videos. And if you want to be part of an amazing community where you can ask me anything all the time and get some amazing support, go to onlinepilatesclasses.com, where we do life better.